Now, let's talk about Prince Harry. Front page of all the newspapers today, or most of them anyway. He's recorded 2 new interviews ahead of the release of his new book, Spare. He's done one for American television and one for here. So his interview with Tom Bradby, which will air next Sunday night at 9 p.m. on ITV1. Here are just some of the things that he says.
It never needed to be this way. The leaking and the planting. I want a family, not an institution. They feel as though it's better to keep us somehow as the villains. They've shown absolutely no willingness to reconcile. I would like to get my father back. I would like to have my brother back.
Well, interesting to hear him say that he wants his father back, he wants his brother back. But can he get them back after some of the things that have been said, Brenda? I'm not making any judgment on either side, but things have been said. And is there a way back for any of them now?
I think there is a way back, and with every family, all families have feuds, disagreements and fallouts for whatever reason. Some not even as serious as, you know, this isn't as serious as some feuds that I've heard, even, you know. But I think until you acknowledge, and I think that's what he's basically saying, I just want a little bit of an acknowledgement that you are aware that this happened to me, rather than just sweep it under the carpet, never complain, never explain. We get that, but a little acknowledgement from somebody can go a long way to them saying, OK, you understand, you appreciate what I've gone through. Things might not change, but just having an acknowledgement for me goes a long way to saying you're trying to heal a rift.
But surely an acknowledgement or an apology is only relevant if the other person believes that something has been wrong.
Yes, but there's been a lot that's gone on in the public eye that's been speaking about the whole family, but especially this couple.
But Brenda,
and I think if there was something publicly, somebody saying, OK, we acknowledge that you were treated in a not right way, just to say something simple like that would go a long way to saying, OK, thank you for acknowledging. It's like you can have a drink problem. Until you admit that you have a drink problem or a drug problem, you're not going to get better.
But
that's what I mean, Carol.
The problem is his, right? The problem is Harry's. He's the one with the problem, right? He's the one who keeps going on about it and keeps trying to say, well, he doesn't say what he wants. That's the point. He doesn't say... Yes, but Brenda, here's the point. He acknowledges himself that the royal family never complained, never explained, so they're not going to do that publicly. And they know full well that even if they did think they were in the wrong, as Ruth says, and gave them an apology or an acknowledgement or whatever, Harry and Meghan would make it public. So it's not going to happen. And the thing is, I think it's easier said than done, obviously, a reconciliation, but it can happen, and it needs to start with Harry putting a sock in it, frankly. I mean, he does need to stop going on and acting like he's a perpetual victim, because he's not. It's all one-sided. It's a one-sided story. We only hear what they have to say. The royal family are never going to say anything.
Kelly,
and Prince Charles did actually say, not Prince Charles, King Charles, sorry. He did say the other day, I would take my son back in a heartbeat, and that was public. So, you know, what more does he want?
And he said that in his speech way back in September, after the Queen had died. He said, I want to continue to express my love for Harry and Meghan as they continue to build their lives overseas. So he does mention them. He does say they love them. I mean, there's so much that goes on that we don't know about. I'm going to come to you in a moment, Kelly, but I just want to... We've both mentioned there the never complain, never explain motto. And in the interview that Harry's given to American television, this is to Anderson Cooper, this is what he says about that motto.
There's a lot of complaining and a lot of explaining.
And
being done through leaks.
Through leaks. They will feed or have a conversation with the correspondent, and that correspondent will literally be spoon-fed information and write the story, and then at the bottom of it, they will say that they've reached out to Buckingham Palace for comment. But the whole story is Buckingham Palace commenting. So when we're being told for the last 6 years, we can't put a statement out to protect you, but you do it for other members of the family, there becomes a point when silence is betrayal.
It is. Silence is betrayal. It's very powerful. Kelly, the thing is, it is a bit they said, we said, he said, she said, and none of us really know. So we're all trying to, make our minds up about what we think about what's going on in that family, but we don't actually know. It's what you believe and who you believe.
OK. So Prince Andrew was at Christmas, wasn't he? He came to the service. So that's, for me, a huge olive branch from the family. He's allowed to come. He did stay way back, I noticed that, but he was there, wasn't he? And we know what Prince Andrew has been through. We know that publicly, and we could say we've only heard one side of the story. But in this situation with Harry, what I love about Harry is he's not only been... You know, a lot of people have said, oh, all he did in the documentary was trash the royal family. That's actually not true. If you watch the documentary in its full and its entirety, you'll see that he was actually... What he's trying to do is highlight the things that are wrong with the establishment in an attempt to say, look, these are the things that have gone wrong. Can we fix them? Can we change the way we do things? Because historically, it hasn't worked. We've seen that with his mother. Historically, it hasn't worked. It's happening again, and it's not just to him. There's other members of the family that have talked about these allegations of the way that the establishment handle things. Can we change that, please? Because it's not working. It's damaging people's mental health and causing rifts. Can we change the way we do things? It's what we've done historically, but it doesn't mean that it's always worked.
To get that done, should you not be doing that privately, like Carol was saying? Because everybody's nervous about talking to anybody else in case it becomes public.
Yeah.
So if you want to sit down and have a conversation with olive branches and can we discuss this and can we move forward, surely that needs to be private.
But they have
and
said
the fear is,
they did try to do that in private. They have tried to do that in private on several occasions and it hasn't worked. I think Harry's second wave of interviews is probably a bit of that kind of, OK, the documentary was filmed a long time ago.
It's not a documentary, though, remember that. It's a story. It's their story. It's not a documentary.
But it is a documentary because it's documented...
On their lives,
It's documented factually. And even...
It's not
even the people that were... The contributors, the historian and the writer, weren't even told what they were contributing for. So they were coming from a place of an unbiased opinion based on what they'd seen.
Still opinion, though.
Yeah, but equally, Carol, the things that were said in the documentary were factual on their part. So
Of course, it's their truth, but there's no other truth, is there? There's no other story. There's no other side. You can't just have one side to a story and then go, oh, that's the fact.
But you've even got members of the press who were found guilty of doing those things, admitting that what they did was wrong, admitting that they were fed information. So, what are you going to say that about every documentary? That what the contributors are saying is untrue?
Yeah, you're talking about the Netflix documentary. This is moved on from the Netflix documentary. So this is interview, and the book is coming out on the 10th of January. So this is pre-book launch interviews. The one that we were talking about there with Tom Bradbury, Harry, the interview. It's called. That's going to be on ITV One on Sunday at 9 o'clock, and the other one was for 60 Minutes programme on CBS in America, and that will be Sunday at 7 p.m, which I think we'll be able to then see here the next day, I believe.
Can't wait.
Anyway, it's one of those, you make your own mind up, you watch what you watch and you listen to what you listen to, whether there will ever be an answer to it. But, it seems very sad, doesn't it? A family so
is sad.
broken.
That's the bottom line. It's
sad.
really sad. And it's
a broken family, it is.